Hi everyone. Working on my 1984 Suzuki LT 125. Have a no spark issue with it. I ran fine last year. Stuck it in the shed. Took it out in the spring. No spark. Took me a little while to even figure out what didn't have spark. I actually went right to the carb and rebuilt the carburetor, and then realized I had no spark. But what I want to show everybody here is basically, what I learned the hard way. Maybe I can save people some time. But basically, really, at the end of the day, I mean, I'm no motorcycle mechanic or anything, but I've been working on this stuff for most of my life. But basically, you have a spark plug. You got a spark plug wire, or you could call it your coil, because that's really what it is. That's the coil right there. I don't know if you can see it. Basically, you got the coil, you got the wire, you got the boot on the end here, and then you got the spark plug, which screws into the other side here. So anyhow, I started out with the basic. Obviously, I tried the spark plug, no spark. So I tried the coil, no spark. So then there is a CDI unit, which is, I don't know if you can see that. It's that guy right there. It's basically a black box. In fact, I got the old one over here. Let's travel over here. Here's your CDI box. Don't mind the clutch pieces. That's part of another project. But that's the CDI box. It's got like 1, 2, 3, 4 wires going to it. They're hard to find. I don't think you're going to find them new. You're going to find them used, and they usually want $100 for them. I found this one for $50 because it was missing the hole that holds it in place. But I made a little bracket for it right there. And so anyhow, I thought it was a CDI unit. So I get that all in, no spark. So basically, the only thing that's really left after that is you get down here into the, I believe it's called the armature. This guy right here that I took out, that's the magneto. So basically, that spins around, and that's what, I don't want to say produces a, but I guess it does. Again, I'm no professional. But, so hopefully I'm getting the terminology pretty close anyway. But this is what you'll find inside once you take that magneto off. There's 2 coils in there, and what I found out is one's a lighting coil, and one is, I think they're calling the primary coil, which is this guy here. That's the one. It's kind of got insulation wrapped around it. And then, let's see if this will focus a little better. You got this one right here where you can see the copper coils exposed. That's your lighting coil. So basically, I got a new one of these, and I'm about to solder that in place. It comes one end is grounded, and the other end they give you this little pigtail right here, which is going to have to be soldered into this wiring harness right here, which I'm about to do. But I just want to show people, basically, that's, as far as I can tell, that's pretty much the entire ignition system on the whole four-wheeler, minus your kill switch, your on-off switch. Obviously, that could be bad. Check that out. Actually, I'm an electrician by trade. I rang that out. That's working fine. But what I did find, once I got this armature all apart, or this magneto apart, I found this section here that was wrapped in electrical tape. You can tell it wasn't factory. It was a repair at one time. And if I could zoom in there, I don't know if that's zooming in or not, but you can see a little bit of a solder joint there. And this was all wrapped up with tape. And everything was bone dry on the outside. I started unraveling that electrical tape, and water just poured out of it. So what I think my problem's been all along is this solder joint was, all wrapped up in that electrical tape. It was soaking wet. It was probably short in the ground somewhere, or there was a nick in the other wire, it was short into that. But I believe that was actually my problem all along. And unfortunately, I wouldn't have been able to figure that out anyway unless I had this all apart, because those wires wrap up into here and they go inside, and they're part of the magneto setup. So I would have had to take this all apart anyway, and I learned quite a bit doing that. So I'm going to get busy soldering that new piece of wire in. I got some heat shrink tube. I'm going to heat shrink everything and make a nice connection. I got the new coil, obviously, so I put that in anyway, but I did put a meter across it, and it's within the range that they say it should be in, and I compared it to the old one, and they're just about the same, so I don't think that was bad, but I got it apart. I got the new one. I'm going to put the new one in, obviously. So, yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and repair this, and when I get done with that, I'll see what happens and get back, and hopefully I'll have a video with this thing running.